Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Alex, the Comic Hoarder. Thank you so much for clicking play on this video. I'm currently watching an X-Men draft on Colossus Collector's YouTube channel. It's freaking insane. If you haven't subscribed, I'll leave a link. And then from there, you can subscribe to all of these other X-Men lovers. But speaking of X-Men comics, I've got an X-Men haul. It's all due to the X-Men cartoon, and unfortunately, I fell victim to the fear of missing out. Now, of course, I am an X-Men fan. I freaking love the X-Men. I've always loved the X-Men. As you can see there, a nice recreation of the X-Men #1 cover. But this is an all X-Men haul. It's all because of the X-Men cartoon. Hopefully you guys are excited for this video. Here we go. I was having a really good time in the chat room of Colossus Collector's X-Men draft, and I thought, man, I've got a pile of X-Men books that I need to show because I've been recently buying these and reading them as much as I possibly can. Now, they're sporadic, so I would like to get more of these issues so I can read them. Now, I used to have 1 through 300. I no longer have 1 through 300. I barely have any of those books anymore, but I'm kind of restarting to grab as many as possible just as they come available. Recently got a bunch more. Now, what's great about X-Men 97 is it's reinvigorating my love for reading these late 70s, early 80s X-Men Claremont books. Absolutely love them. And so this haul will have plenty of those books. And I also got some extra ones in the mail today, which I didn't have in this other set over here. I got these from a buddy in town named Andrew, really great collector in my local area. I also got some from STL Comics, which I love STL Comics. And then I got some from a shop in Iowa City. And so the first one up is from Andrew. I got 2 books from him. The first 2 books I'll show, and the second one I'll show is a pretty darn big key. It's probably one of the biggest keys in this haul. The first one is my very first Silver Age comic I ever bought. And I was probably 9 or 10 years old. And I remember mowing the grass so I could have comic book money. And I think this comic was like $19 or something like that. Maybe $22. I can't remember. It was pretty darn cheap and it was a pretty nice copy. This one is not a nice copy. It was kind of a throw-in. But this is the death of Professor X, the death of Changeling, who was disguised as Professor X. There's a lot of chipping. I think the cover is detached. X-Men 42. It's one of my favorite X-Men covers and X-Men books of all time because it has sentimental value. This was my very first Silver Age X-Men book. And I remember back like 1991 or 1992, getting this book for the very first time thinking, wow, I've made it. I've got an original X-Men comic book. So I thought that was pretty cool to grab that one again. Then the next one up is a pretty big key, and I read this one the day that I bought it, on Saturday. This is the Uncanny X-Men 129. This is the first appearance of Emma Frost, the first appearance of Kitty Pryde, and the first appearance of Hellfire Club in the shadows at the club. And what's great about this one is it is a John Byrne cover and art and Chris Claremont story. The X-Men are finishing up their battle with Proteus in Scotland, and they're inviting Banshee to come back to the States with the X-Men. He says no thanks. They're inviting Polaris and Havoc to come back with them. No thanks. But then when they get home, there's an intruder alert. They see that Professor X is back in the mansion. And then while they're doing some training, 2 brand new mutants pop up. And in this issue, we see one of those brand new mutants, and it's Kitty Pryde. Really awesome storyline. Now, this is also the very first part in the several part series of the Dark Phoenix saga. I don't know why this is the first issue. Maybe there's like one line, or maybe she has a headache. I don't know, but she doesn't really seem bad to me in this issue. Maybe I skipped over that part, but I don't know why this is the first part in that. This is definitely a mid-grade. There's some creases down here, little crease right there. But other than that, nice reader copy. I was happy to read that recently. A bunch of these I got at STL Comics or in the shop in Iowa. This is from 1980. This is X-Men, or Uncanny X-Men number 138. And this is the issue where Cyclops leaves the X-Men after the Phoenix perishes. This is a non-key from 1981. This is the Uncanny X-Men featuring the Man-Thing. Not even a cool... I was going to say it's a cool Cyclops cover. It's not really a cool cover at all. Just a neat bronze, late bronze, early Copper Age. I like this one. This is... I got this from STL Comics. This is X-Men number 150, and this is the battle versus Magneto. This is the issue where they talk about the Jewish heritage of Magneto in Auschwitz. So this is a very, very neat and important book. Very, very cool cover as well. Okay, I like this book. I definitely want to read this one very soon, but this is Uncanny X-Men from 1981. This is number 154, and this is the origin of the Summers family of Corsair, of Cyclops, and of Havoc. So I think this is pretty awesome. Was it last night or this morning, I read the first appearance of Havoc in X-Men number 54, where he was graduating, and then the living Pharaoh comes and disturbs the peace. All right, this one is Uncanny X-Men number 160, and this is from 1982, my birth year. This is the first appearance of Illyana Rasputin as an adolescent. Pretty awesome book. Here is the Uncanny X-Men number 163, once again from 1982. Got this from STL Comics. This is the origin of Binary, Carol Danvers. So this is really neat. Pretty cool cover as well. The Brood are just creepy and scary. The Uncanny X-Men number 170. I absolutely love these covers, especially this one. I remember reading the X-Men Classic or Classic X-Men in the early 90s, and I remember like reading these issues with the Morlocks. And so this is absolutely super cool. Issue number 170. Really great cover. All right, when I was buying these books, I really didn't have a list. And so unfortunately, when I was buying them, I had picked up doubles. So one of these is from STL Comics, really, really nice condition copy. And the other one was from Iowa City, also very, very nice copy. This is issue number 172 from 1983, my wife's birth year. So happy birthday to my wife in 83. So Dan, the X-Men collector, was on the Colossus Collectors live draft there. He's a huge X-Men fan, and we both commented about this issue. And I think maybe Bigby McFly was actually the one that commented about this, but this is the issue that I was referring to when I was saying I read The Honeymoon of Cyclops and Madeline Pryor. Once again, I got two copies, one from Iowa City, one from STL Comics, but this is one of my all-time favorites growing up, this cover. I had the X-Men Classics or Classic X-Men issue of this, and I believe that it had this, like the original cover, as maybe the inside cover, or maybe the last page where it would show the original cover, or maybe it was even the back cover. I can't really remember, but it was this cover. And this is I read this recently. It's the honeymoon of Cyclops and Madeline Pryor, and they get stranded because of a storm. And then all of a sudden this humongous squid octopus comes and attacks them, pulls Madeline Pryor in. Cyclops just goes berserk and uses his optic blast. He doesn't have his sunglasses because they fell into the water. And so he's just blind in the water. Madeline Pryor has to help him. Really, really cool story. Cyclops is trying to put the plane on autopilot so he can have his consummate his marriage, maybe on the plane. I'm not sure, during autopilot time. Uncanny X-Men number 176. Fun read, quick read. I just love it. I also failed to mention that this issue is the first appearance of Valerie Cooper, and she's a government agent, and you can see her in like a Senate council or a Senate hearing or something like that. So this is a John Romita. I believe that was Romita too. So John Romita Jr. How does he go from this to the horrible work that he does now? I'm just not a fan of JR. Even in like the Spider-Man books, I mean, anything that he's done in the last probably 20 years, I just can't stand it. This is Uncanny X-Men number 177, John Romita Jr. Once again, great John Romita Jr. artwork. I feel like he switched his style and everyone looks like Beavis and Butthead. I don't know what's going on, but it's just not my style. Uncanny X-Men number 178, got this one from STL Comics. Yeah, I love that cover. Very, very cool. Oh, baby. I don't know why I grabbed two at the same time, but I was just kind of grabbing everything that I saw, both in probably 8.0, 8.5, maybe 9.0 on this front one. But this is Uncanny X-Men number 183, The Battle Between Juggernaut and Colossus. Very, very cool books. Got 2 copies of that one. Like I said, I was just grabbing and happened to pick up 2 copies. This one was from Iowa City. This is Uncanny X-Men number 184, the first appearance of Forge. All right, this one is Uncanny X-Men number 185, and this is where Storm loses her powers, and she doesn't get them till years later. But this is a very important book, and it's a key right now. I got this from Iowa City for $8. Here is Uncanny X-Men number 186, Life, Death, a love story. Very cool and timely book. Got this one from STL Comics for $2. Uncanny X-Men 189. Not sure I love the cover on this one. All right, here's Uncanny X-Men number 194. There's a first appearance in here. And number 195. Very nice copy of this from STL Comics. Looks like you got Power Pack on there. Here's a great cover. Absolutely love this. The Uncanny X-Men number 198. Life, Death number 2. Claremont, Barry Windsor Smith. Cool issue. I got 2 of them. One from, I thought I got one from, I got one from up in Chicago. Was up in Chicago recently and got this Uncanny X-Men number 200. This was like right after the episode hit, and I bought it for $10. And then in Iowa City, recently got a second copy, the Uncanny X-Men number 200. This is the Trial of Magneto for $2 from STL Comics. I thought it would be more, but this is the Uncanny X-Men number 201, the first appearance of Baby Cable. Here's the Uncanny X-Men number 203, Phoenix vs. the Beyonder. And here's Uncanny X-Men 204. This is a pretty hot key right now. This is the Uncanny X-Men number 239. Got this one for $5.95 from Iowa City. Newsstand copy. First cover appearance of Madeline Pryor. Got this one from Iowa. The Uncanny X-Men number 244, the first appearance of Jubilee. Went ahead and put that into a Mylar and put it into a top loader. As this is a foundational comic book, it just doesn't get any better than this. This is always a key. It's always a book that's sought after, whether it's $15 or $50. People want the first appearance of Jubilee. All right, now I got 2 slabs and a package to open up. The slabs were from a pawn shop. Once again, a pawn shop. I've already bought from this pawn shop, and I already got the higher grade of this book. And so this is probably the lowest grade on the census of this book. I don't know why. It looks pretty much like it's an accurate grading, why someone would grade this. But it is Uncanny X-Men number 266, the first appearance, the only book that really matters. The other one was a shipping, operational error that they sent that one out before, but in continuity and in context, this is the one that matters. Uncanny X-Men 266, the first full appearance of Gambit, 6.5 white pages. They might have been a little hard. There's a little crease up here, and there's maybe 1, 2, 3 spine ticks. Maybe they were accurate on their grading, but I got this one, and you know what? I paid $90 for it. That is probably way too much for this book in this grade. But you know what? I'm trying to build a good relationship. They don't have these out. They only got them out for me. And it's a local pawn shop. I was able to buy a friend, a really cool friend of mine, a Daredevil number 1 when he was in town. And so that was pretty exciting. And I bought a statue. I bought the Black Widow statue, if you guys have watched any of my other videos or shorts. Now, they also had this one. Would you have bought this for $25? This is also very timely with the X-Men 97. I already have a copy of this, a raw copy for reading purposes. This is definitely probably an accurate grade on this, but for $25 in the magazine holder, 7.0 Marvel graphic novel number 4 from 1982, my birth year. First appearance of the New Mutants Cannonball, Psyche, Sunspot, and Wolfsbane. Chris Claremont story, Bob McLeod cover and art. 7.0 white pages. Heck yeah. $25, might as well, right? It's got some grossness on the case there, but look at that. It's so nice. It's a mirror. All right, I started a Facebook group in my area for collecting comics, talking about comics, selling, trading, whatever we want to do. But it's pretty much for local people because it's to kind of bolster the local comic book collecting hobby in our area. And I put out a call that I was looking for some books. Someone tagged me in one of the Facebook claim sales, and I got 2 books from somebody. I set an alarm for when they were doing their claim sale, and as soon as they listed the books, I claimed them. I didn't care what the price was. This book is harder to find because it's popular now. It never used to be hard to find. I've had dozens of copies of this book, and it's never been hard to find. I've always let them go. They always seem to show up in collections. And for some reason right now, it's a hot book. It's hard to find. And then I got another copy of another book that's also, pretty hot key right now, and can never go wrong with more copies of this book. All right, the last 2 books in this haul, I'll show actually the second one first. This is just a nice reader copy, so I can have a secondary copy of this book, foundational comic book. This is the Uncanny XMen number 244, first appearance of Jubilee. I got this one for $10. Like I said, it's a reader copy. You can see the spine wear on it, but I mean, it's always kind of an in-demand book. And I call this one a foundational book because Jubilee has been a popular character for a long, long time. And it's always a key that people are pulling out of collections. Even if you know very little about comic books, you probably know about that key, and you're pulling it out when you are looking through someone's collection, trying to value it, trying to ascertain what books you want out of it or how you're going to make your money back. You pull out that first appearance of Jubilee and you're like, okay, here's a key that I can probably, make my money back, or here's a key that I want to keep for myself. Now, the second book is a key, but I wouldn't call it a foundational comic book because not everybody knows what this is. Not everyone cares about this book. They're not really adding value to your collection because you have this one. Maybe right now they are, but foundational comic books, they don't fluctuate because of hot spec. I mean, they may go up, but they'll always be somewhat valuable. This book, I feel like, has been like a $2 book for the longest time, a couple dollar book, maybe a $5 book, but it's never been a huge, huge key until right now. And me being dumb, this is when I go after it. So this is the Uncanny XMen number 168. It's always been a cool cover with Kitty Pryde, but it's never really been one that you go after because of the key of Madeline Pryor. Well, at least I've never gone after it. I would never have pulled this out of a collection being like, oh, there's a big one. First appearance of Madeline Pryor. Better put that with the X-Men 266 and the New Mutants 87 and 98. This isn't one of those books, but I think it is still pretty cool. I'm excited to read this one. I read the first appearance of Kitty Pryde. Now I want to read the first appearance of Madeline Pryor so I can kind of read up to where I was with that X-Men 176 and then just kind of go from there. So anyways, very cool book. Happy to have this one in the collection. And yeah, that's it, you guys. Thank you so much. It feels good. Feels good to get this off of the to-do list. I really do appreciate you guys. Once again, check the link in the description below for Colossus Collector. And then if Colossus Collector has linked those other channels in his description, go ahead and subscribe to those. It doesn't hurt to have more awesome content on your feed, on your YouTube feed. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. If you could subscribe, if you're brand new to the channel, hit that bell to be notified when there's future videos, hit the thumbs up and comment down below. I would really appreciate it. Thank you guys once again, and I'll talk to you all on the next one. See you. Bye.